Able to see my screen? Able to see my screen? Hello.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can see your screen, but your sound is little bit getting echo.
Is it?
I'm not getting any echo. Others, is anybody getting any echo?
No, we are good. No
No,
echo.
good.
Yeah, please check your audio system, because we don't get any echo.
Okay, fine. Let's get started. A lightning flow. So that is today's session. In the automation, you might have seen, processes builder and workflow, and at the most, the king of automation thing. So you can call it as a king of automation thing. That's what called as lightning flow. Actually, lightning flow is used to create complex scenarios without code. Okay. So that is the power of flow is concerned. So powerful business automation tool, low code. Okay. Actually, you can code. Okay, but you can't directly code in flow. You can create Aura components or Lightning Web components, and you can include those components into flows also. Okay, and can be used to solve complex business requirements. Okay, when there is a complex business requirements exist, you can solve it using flows instead of going for process builder. Process builder, you can't do satisfy all the things. Let's say there is a user interface needed to create a simple user interface. Instead of going to Lightning Web component, or instead of going for Aura component, you can satisfy that requirement using your Lightning flow. Let's have a look at the screen. See here. So these all are the different components. So these all are the different components. Being, it might be developed using flow, or it might be developed by Aura component. So this is actually basically called as a component. In a single page web application, uh, you can have so many components. The combination of different components, ultimately come up with a single web page. So as far as the end user is concerned, he will know about this is a page. That's it. But as far as the developer, we knows that these all are the component. This is a single component. This is a component. This is a component. The advantage of having components is it's reusable components. Reusable component in the sense, let's say I want to have the same kind of component in another screen, in the sense I can able to go there and I can easily drag and drop that component into my particular screen. Let's say this is a simple components being developed using LWC, Lightning Web component. In this particular screen, in this particular page, I want a component in the sense I can develop it using Lightning Flow, and I can drag and drop easily to fix into my screen. So you can place your Lightning components in the home page, or you can place it in the record data page. Wherever you want, you can place the Lightning Web components. Generally, wherever user interaction needed. Let's say I want to click this particular link. If that is the case, in the sense if there is a user interaction is going to happen. Let's say there is a button. I want to click this particular button. If that is the case, in the sense there is an user interaction. Wherever user interaction needed, you can go for the components. So as far as the components is concerned, you can use Lightning Flow. If it satisfied all the requirements, in the sense it's better to go for Lightning Flow. And even for see a powerful business automation tool, even to solve complex business requirements. Let's say this is a simple commerce cloud. This is a commerce cloud developed by Salesforce. In this commerce cloud, just I'm going to explain how flow is being used in the commerce cloud by Salesforce. Okay, so I'm going to purchase a particular product. So for that, I'm going to log in as a community user. So let me log in as a community user. It's asking me to select the store, which store I want to go. I'm going to select this particular store. So let me purchase a single product, and I will explain you how flow is used by Salesforce in that particular page. So I'm going to buy a single product. I'm going to buy this particular product. So this is a commerce cloud. So I'm going for continue shopping. Yes, I finished with the shopping. So let's me go for proceed to checkout. In this screen, what you are seeing is a flow. Okay, actually this is a flow component. Okay, it is asking me to fill up the addresses. If I click next, in the sense, again one more a Lightning Web component. What you are going to see in the next screen is also Lightning component. It is calculating some kinds of things, and it will display you with another Lightning Web component. Okay. See here, this is also another screen. This is also a Lightning Web component. If I click next, in the sense, it will go to the next screen. That is also a Lightning Web component. So series of lightning flow components being combined together by creating this particular the process, the checkout process. So when I come to the Commerce Cloud, Commerce Cloud flows. See here, there is a checkout flow template. Once you install Commerce Cloud into your Salesforce R, automatically you will be having this particular flow. See here, this is a complex business requirement up to a certain level. This is also being developed by Salesforce itself. Okay, so for the Commerce Cloud checkout process, Salesforce is using this flow. See here, this is a business complex requirement. Okay, we can say up to a particular extent level. Shipping address, getting information, inventory, confirm prices, shipping cost, everything is being done through flows only. There is no Lightning Web component and there is no there is no Aura components. So it is being satisfied through the particular Lightning flow. So this is a typical example for how a complex business requirements can be solved using Lightning flow. It supports user interface. That's really the thing. So where you have to decide whether I have to go for process builder or I have to go for Lightning flow, in the sense when there is a user interaction needed, obviously you should go for a Lightning flow component or a component or web component. It depends upon your business requirements. It's a reusable one. So as far as process builder and flows is concerned, okay, as far as process builder is concerned, if something going to happen, then a particular action will be get executed. So that is what the basic behavior of a process builder. Let's say if you are going to create a record in account object, once an account object is being created, then a particular action will be get executed. So it is just like if this condition happens, then this thing will happen. It's just a kind of scenario will be there. No user interaction in process builder. You can't have a user interaction and no before DML operations up to this particular point of time right now. No before DML operation in the sense, let's say I am going to insert an opportunity into my opportunity object. Before inserting an opportunity, I want to calculate a tax in the sense before inserting. Okay, what I am telling is before inserting in the same record, I want to do some before DML operation in the sense you can't do it in process builder. Okay, so probably you might go for triggers or something else to do the same thing. In before triggers, you can do the same thing. And there is no direct functionality to delete a particular record in process builder. As far as flow is concerned, you can do everything, all the complete CRUD operation, that is create, you can read, update, delete, the complete CRUD operation you can able to do with flow. It supports user interaction and it supports a record trigger action. Record trigger in the sense like your triggers does. So before inserting a record, something needs to get executed in the sense you can do that with flow. In the current release, you have that functionality too. Okay, so before trigger operations, you can able to do in using flows also. So this is the different types of flows you can able to create. Okay, and the first one is called screen flow. See here, just now as I discussed, in the current release, previously you will be having screen flow and you will have auto launched flow. So currently you have scheduled trigger flow. In the current release, you have the new functionality, scheduled trigger flow, and you have a record trigger flow. This record trigger flow will happen when you are going to create a record. This particular before record, before creating a record, you want to some functionalities to be get executed in the sense you can go for record trigger flow. And platform events can also be you can use platform events also in flows. So these are the new functionalities in this particular release. It's available for you. So it makes flow a little bit stronger and more complex scenarios you can able to easily do. It's a rapid product development. Simply says if you want to develop product rapidly, you can go for flow. If you go for ROL LWC in the sense, you will be using codings to satisfy those requirements. That's why it is called as a low code, but the functionalities will be up to the maximum level you can able to do that. Okay. So any doubts up to this particular point?
Yes. Can you explain this schedule triggered flow again, please?
Yeah, we will going to see each and every flows detailed in this particular session. Okay. So scheduled trigger flow in the sense you will be having scheduled action, right? In process builder, In process builder, you will be having a scheduled action. Let's say if an opportunity is going to be closed, in the sense 30 days before closing the opportunity, any notification email should be sent. Okay. In that scenario, in process builder, you will be using scheduled action, right? Hello, am I right?
Okay. Okay.
In the same way, you can use scheduled trigger in flows. Okay, so that's the
Okay.
thing. Okay.
Okay.
So we will see an example for every scenarios. No issues with that. Okay, let's go for different building blocks of flow. Okay, so these all are the main building blocks which makes flows powerful. And one is called elements. Elements in the sense user interactions. Okay, it may be a screen, it may be an action. Action in the sense, let's say I want to send a quick email. In the sense, I will make use of this particular action. As far as screen is concerned, user interface elements. You can call us a user interface elements. So let's say here, this is a link is there, an icon is there. These all are called the user interface elements. So these user interface elements you can able to design using this particular screen component. Okay, you can create subflows also. And a logical. This is really important. Actually, even though you call it a flow, as a drag and drop, you should need some little kind of a programmatic mind, because there might be a complex requirement. If something is going to happen, if tax is particular amount, if GST is equal to particular amount, this email should be sent, or this particular functionality need to be get executed. So you have to apply your business logics. As far as the business logic is concerned, these kinds of components elements will help you. Okay, let's say a decision making. If there is a decision making is going to happen in your code, in the sense in your in the business requirement, then you will go for a decision. Okay, let's say you are going to check whether your opportunity amount is equal to 50,000. You want to check, so you can call it in programmatic point of view check in the sense, when you are going for pure programming, you will call it as a if condition. You will call it as a if condition. So wherever possible, if you are going to say check in the sense, you will be going for a decision. Okay, I want to iterate a list, or let's say I have 1,000 opportunities in my opportunity object. I want to traverse all the opportunities one by one. So you are going to traverse. If you see that traverse in the sense, you have to go one by one. If there is any requirement comes, one by one in the sense, automatically loop should be coming to your mind. So in programming, you will be writing the same thing. Okay, so one by one processing in the sense, you can go for loop. Assignment, let's say I'm going to pick an opportunity, and by getting the opportunity amount, I want to assign to another objects field. In that particular scenario, you can go for assignment. So as far as the programmatic thing is concerned, business logic is concerned, these three are the vital parts. Okay, you will be iterating the things, or you will be a decision making, or you should have to assign something to a new value to a particular existing field or something else. At that point of time, you will be going for logic. And as far as a CRUD operation is concerned, what is meant by CRUD? You will be creating a record, or you might reading a record, or you might be updating a record, or you might be deleting a record. So wherever you go universally, if you go for DBMS or RDBMS, or even come for Salesforce, the CRUD is the basic data manipulation. Data manipulation will happen in these four scenarios only. Okay, so that is called CRUD. So you have functionality to create record, update record. There is no need to write code. You will be having a component, just a drag and drop and input your requirement. That's it. Okay. So create record, update record, you can get a record, and you can delete a record. Everything is available here. So these are the main core building blocks of your flow. And you have resources also. Under manager, you will be having resources. When you go for, visually we will going to see this. Under manager, you will be having resources. Resources in the sense, let's say you want to store the intermediate value. Okay, you want to reuse it again and again. At that point of time, you will using these resources. In pure programmatic point of view, if you talk, the word might be variable. What is mean by variable? Variable is just a placeholder to store the values. Okay, it can be reused again and again. So that is generally called as variables. As far as flow is concerned, it gives you the functionality of variables as far as which is equivalent to programming point of view. You will be having variable. Let's say it may be an integer x or it may be an integer y. In the same way, you will be having variables. Those people doesn't have the programming background, just leave it across. I will explain you what is the use of variable right over in flow. And you have a pick list choice set. So these are just simple examples for resources which makes flows powerful. So the main building blocks are you will be dealing with elements and resources. So this is what your main building blocks you will be interacting to create powerful flows. Okay. So let's jump into it. Use case. Display hello world in home page and record details page. So now the requirement is you have to create a simple flow. Okay. So let me start creating a simple flow. To create flows, okay, you have to come to the setup, and in the setups you can type flow. You can start typing flow. You will be in the under process automation. You will have flows link. When you click this, you will be coming on to this particular flows page. Okay. So whatever the flows already being created, everything is being displayed in my screen. If you want to create a new flow, at the top you are having a button called new flow, right hand side top. So I'm going to click that. See here, initially it is asking, there is a plenty of templates already available. So what kind of templates you want to create? This is a core, and you can go for all templates also. It is being categorized. Okay, it is being categorized right over here. Auto launched flow, in the sense you can go for auto launched. If your contact request flow, you have so many templates right over here. But apart from templates, these are the core things. If you know these things very well, in the sense you can play with your templates also. No issues with that. So screen flow, in the sense, when you run this particular flow, it will be displayed in the screen. User can interact with that particular screen. If that is the requirement, in the sense, you will go for a screen flow. Let's say auto launched flow. Auto launched flow, in the sense, when something is going to happen in a particular object, a record, I want this flow to be get executed in the background. There is no user interface required. At that point of time, you will be, opting for auto launched flow. Some scheduled kind of events needs to be happened. At that point of time, you will be opting for scheduled trigger flow. When a record is going to be created, at that point of time, I want my trigger, my flow to be get executed. In the sense, you can go for triggered flow. And platform events, as we in the process builder session also, we see platform event. Those platform event also you can able to see here. When let's say there is a third party system in your Salesforce is being connected. When a record is going to be inserted in the third party event, the platform events might be fired. When the platform event gets fired, my flow needs to be respond to that. At that point of time, you can go for platform event. The platform event may be within your Salesforce, or it may be through an external system, whatever may be the scenario. Your flow can respond to that. Okay, you can create a flow for that. So many things being added in the new release. Okay, so we are going to start with screen flow, because the requirement says that you need to greet the users with a welcome message. So I'm going to select screen flow. Let's go for create. So this is what your flow playground. Okay. So initially you will be having a start element right over there. If you want to create a screen, in the sense, in the left hand side, you see here elements is there. You have whatever the things I shown in the slides, everything is being here: screen, action, subflow. When you go for manager, this is the part, resource creation. Here you can create your resources. What is the meaning of resource? As I told, if you want to store your data in somewhere in the process, in the sense, you will be going for resource. Let's say I want to store all the pick list values in an area, in the sense, you will be going for resource. Just have a look at it, what it looks like. When I click this new resource, you will be providing with the window. Here you will be having an option to create resource. So what kind of resource you can create? You can create a variable, in the sense, you can store a data into that, and wherever possible you can use it, but at the same time its value can be changed. So that's why it is called as variable. Variable, in the sense, it can change, it can vary its value. So that's why it is called variable. So it is a placeholder. Let's say in mathematics we will be using x plus y, and after that for x we will be substituting 10, and for y we will be substituting 20. Those x and y can be called as a variable in programmatic perspective. Okay, and you can have a constant, the value cannot be changed. You can have a formula already created into your resource. Wherever possible, you can make use of this particular formula. You have text template. you have choices in the sense, let's say you are going to create a particular user interface. In that user interface you need to create, there is a gender option, male or female, so you need to have a radio button right over there. At that point of time you can make use of choice resources. So we will see it, detail in the session. So initially we are going to create a screen, so I'm going to drag and drop. Okay, just drag and drop. I placed the flow into my screen. So initially you have to give your flow a name. So that is your screen, a name you have to give. The screen name, this is a welcome screen. So I'm going to give the name as welcome screen. So that is automatically that will become my API name. There should not be any space, so underscore is being configured. And this is called header and this is called footer. Okay. So you can configure these areas also. See here, you have a show header. If I disable that, the header will be gone. If you disable this footer in the sense, the footer will be gone. So it is up to the requirement whether you want to have a header or footer. But navigation is concerned, you should have next or finish anyone navigation you should have like that. Okay. So we will see a little bit later. So simply I want to display a welcome message. For that, in the left hand side, you can have so many components right over there. That is screen elements you will be having. That is, you can have an address, you can have a checkbox, you can have a date and time component. So many components are there. Just now I'm going to display my welcome message. So for that, there is no need to get input from the user. Just I want to display. If that is the case, in the sense, I'm going for display set. Let me drag and drop. I placed it right over there. Now the display text is being there. It does not contain any value. Okay. First, whatever component you are going to place in your screen, you should give a name, API name, because you might access that in your flow. So you have to give the name. So welcome text. I'm going to give it as API name, welcome text. And then if you want to display, hi, welcome to flow session, in the sense, you can input your text. Welcome, hi, welcome to flow session. Now this text will be displayed in this particular screen element. Click me done. I'm going to done with this. See here. So a screen is there. Okay, the no more elements right over here. Now you have to connect it. Once you run this particular flow, this flow should call this screen. So you should connect this. For that, there is a dot right over there. At the bottom, you have dots in the elements. You just click that one dot and just drag it and place it in the next dot. It will be automatically created. Wherever possible, you can drag and drop. So that's not an issue. Okay, you want to place it right over here, you can place it. That's it. So a simple flow is being created. So each and everything you do in your flows builder screen, automatically you have to save it. Otherwise, this these changes will not be reflected. So once you created your flow in the flow builder, please save it. I'm going to save it. Okay. So while saving the flow, then only it will be asking to give the name for your flow. This is welcome flow. So I'm going to give welcome flow. So I'm going to give welcome flow. Automatically, it will be the API name. Okay. Welcome flow to greet users. So that's what my message. Just I'm going to save it as of now. Now you see here, a flow is being created and it is in inactive. To use this particular flow, you have to activate it. But before activating it, I want to check whether my flow is working properly or not. I want to check the functionality of my flow. To check your functionality of the flow, you can go for a debug. At the top, you have a debug button right over there. I'm going to check it, debug it. Once I click the debug, okay. So see here, this is my flow. This might be the output. If I placed it in the record page or in the home page, this might be the output I will get. So I can able to debug my flow. See here how the interview started, how the interview flow started. Okay, this is my username and this is my flow ID. So started the flow interview. It's okay, fine. You have a finish button. So when you click the finish, in the sense, automatically it will stop. There is no other screen to display, so it's done right over there. See here in the next debug information. Okay, display text. It's a welcome message. So what all are the screen components you have, and the screen components corresponding messages will be displayed in the debug. So the debug is really very powerful thing, because instead of activating and after that placing it in the screen, and if you are going to check your flow, in the sense if there might be some issues, so instead of that you can check it in the debug session, and after that if you are satisfied with your flow, you can go for activating it. Now I am satisfied with my flow, it's fine. If you go for run again, in the sense again once again it will start to play. So now there is no need for me. I'm going to close this window. So let me activate it. I'm going to activate my flow. So my flow gets activated. Once if it is get activated, okay, the changes you are going to make will not be available for you. For that you have to deactivate and you have to save us, just like process builder. You have to deactivate, and after that you have to save us, and you can go for your modifications. Now it is activated. Now it is time to use my welcome flow. Okay. So how you can use your flows? You can use your flows either in your home screen, or you can go for record details page. Let's say accounts. I'm going to open any account. Okay, this is my account. Here you can able to use your flows. You can use your flows in the record detail page, or you can use your flows in the home page. Okay. Now I am going to use my flow in my home page. For that, this is my home page. I'm going for this setup the gear icon. At the gear icon, you have an option called edit page. I'm going to edit this particular page. This is my application home page, so I want to edit it. This is your edit page section. It's okay. All the components will be displayed right over here. There's issue with the particular LWC component. It's okay, fine. So now in the left hand side, see here, you have all the standard components created in your org. So these are the standard components developed by Salesforce. It is available for you to use in your pages. Okay. And similarly, you will be having custom components also. These custom components can be created by Aura components or LWC, whatever it may be. Okay. So now we have a flow component. So to test this flow, you have to go for flow. There is an option called flow. You have to drag and drop. Wherever you want, you can place it. If you want to top up the screen, you can place it. I want this particular area. So just immediately I drop it. Okay. So immediately this is the flow I just now created. Automatically that flow is being displayed right over here. See here at the right. See this particular area. So this is the area you are going to configure your flow. So your flow settings will be right over here. Okay, here you will be configuring your flow, which flow you want to display. Let's say in your org, you might be having 100 flows. So which flow you want to load in this particular area, you can configure it. Okay, so let me remove this first. I'm going to remove this. See here, I'm going to type welcome flow, in the sense WE, in the sense automatically that flow is being displayed. Now I'm going to select it. Automatically the welcome flow is being connected with this particular flow component. So to make it available for the users, first time you need to activate this page. So let me go for activation. So let me save it and then go for activation. I'm going for activation. That is, I'm activating this home page. Okay. For which users you want to activate? I already activated this page, so I have only one option called remove as or default. Otherwise, you will be having an option called assign this as an org default. Just you have to click that and you have to close it. That's it. So the first step is you need to activate. First time when you are doing, you need to activate your flow, and then you can save it once again and you can go for back. Let me save it once again and coming back. Let me click this back link. Click this back link. See here, this is the flow just now I have created. So I could able to, this is the flow. This is the flow we have currently created, and we have only one screen element, that is just a welcome to flow session. So this one I can able to see in my screen. So this is the flow. So this is how in a single page application you can create user interactive components without code using flows. When I click finish, in the sense nothing is going to happen because there is no other screen left over for me. So that's why it is going to be displayed as it is. So we have created a simple screen flow. We debug that, we satisfied with that, and after that we activated it and we went to home page. We edit that home page and we placed our welcome flow right over there. Let's see, now I want to have that particular welcome message in my account record detail page. In this detail page, I want to have. If that is the case, in the sense, please go to that particular record detail page. Again, go for same step you are going to, again doing it. go for setup section and go for edit page. In this edit page, again, you have to drag your flow. So initially you made the flow appear in the home page. Okay, so now you are going to do the record detail page. Again, I'm going for flow. Okay, so drag and drop your flow wherever you want, you place it. I'm going to place it at the top right over here. Automatically your welcome flow will be connected. If you have so many flows, you can name the flow. Okay, and going for activation. I'm going for activate it. See here, as far as this is concerned, this is the activation page of your record detail page. You can add another form factor in the sense you can activate it for desktop, or you can activate it for mobile, or you can activate it for both the things. You can able to do it. It is up to the requirement. Now I am going to save it and going back. Let's see whether the flow is available in the record detail page. Yes, now the flow is available for me in the record detail page, as well as now the flow is available for me in my home pages also. So I can able to create, this is what called as reusable component. You created a single lightning flow component, you reused it in your home page as well as in your record detail page. So this is called reusable components. Wherever possible, you can reuse the same thing. No need to write the code again and again. Okay, so this is how you can create a simple flow. We created a simple flow and tested it. Up to this particular point, do you have any doubts in the sense? Please ask.
Wonderful.
Yes, Arun Raj.
Hello.
Yes, Arun Raj. Please.
There is an API name in screen, right? Welcome screen.
Yes, yes.
Usually, if we have a field, we can put the API name. But how did you use the API name? Welcome screen.
Actually, let me go to this particular. Actually, this is the welcome screen. I have created a name. I have given the API name. If you are going to call it from the code, in the sense you will be referring the API. As far as this particular thing is concerned, we are not going to call it using the API. Just we are going to drag and drop. So Salesforce will take care of everything. Okay. If you are going for customization, or if you are going to use it in the Aura components, or if you are going to use it in the LWC in the sense, then you need to refer this particular component right over there. So when you are going to referring a particular component or particular object, you will be using the API names. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Please. So anyone has any doubts?
What is the difference between run and debug?
Actually, see here, if you go for debug in the sense, this is before, just you take it as before going to production. Okay, before going to production, you will be testing your component, right? If the functionality is fine, then only you will be handed it over to the end users, right? So debug in the sense, initially you are testing, the developer is going to test it, whether it is working fine or not. If he is satisfied with the functionality, then only he can go for, a production. Production in the sense, he can activate the component. So the debug in the sense, you are going to develop it and you are going to test it. You can call it as a test. You are testing your component, the functionality of your component. If it is fine in the sense, then you will be going for, activating it. Okay, after activating the component, if user is, getting some exception in the sense, it won't look nice. So the better thing, the best practice is first create a component and you just debug. Debug in the sense, you test it and after that you activate it. Okay. Okay, fine. If no one
Then
has,
what is run?
Run in the sense, this is same as debug, but the thing is, in the debug you will be provided with information how the how this particular component is started. So what all are the data available in your each and every element in your component. Everything is the detailed information is right here in debug. Okay. So if you are having programmatic background in the sense, you might have seen that we will be putting a debug point and we will test the value. If you go for run in the sense, this is similar to testing your component. Okay, but see here whether there is any information is right over there. There will not be any information. Okay, so let's say you are going to do a simple formula or you are going to do a simple calculation right over there and you are using it. Okay, when you go for run in the sense, you will have no clue what actually the value is being there in the component, how it is being calculated, step-by-step process. You will not have any clue right over there. But when you go for a debug in the sense, you will get a clear idea how the data is being flowed and each and every step what the data is. So it gives you the complete information. Okay, so this is what the difference between a debug and run. Okay, you can go for a run, but the best thing is you go for a debug Okay, in the initial stage, you are going to build a component. So you have to debug that. You have to get all the functionalities being correct, whether the data is being flowed in the right format. You can cross-check your component. Simply says, if you want to cross-check, let's say there is no error, but my business logic went wrong. So when my business logic went wrong, in the sense, in programming, you will be checking line by line. Okay, if you are going to write a code, in the sense, you will be checking line by line. In this line, you will be putting a system.debug. What might be the output? You will be checking that. In the same way, in flow, you can check, step by step data flow, how the data flow looks using this particular debug. Okay, so okay, fine. Let's move on to the next requirement. What the next requirement says. So we finished with the first use case. So this is the tip: for every change you made it into the flow, please, you need to save it. Okay, you have to save it, otherwise it will not be reflected. So test the flow using debug option before activating. This is the best practice. Test your flow before activating it. Okay, once you activate it, in the sense, it's available for everyone. So please be sure that. Now, the next one is a little bit introduction about a resource binding. Let's say there is a requirement. You need to build 2 screens. Okay, the requirement says that you need to build 2 screens. First screen, a welcome message. If I click next, in the sense, I should have a next screen. Okay, so this is what the requirement. 2 screens you want to create. So let me jump on to the same flow. Okay, so this is the Commerce Cloud. Let's come to it. Okay. So I have activated it. Okay, so it's really, it will be tough for you to change the things because it won't be available for you. So what I have to do is, initially I have to, deactivate it. So deactivating it, in the sense, you can go for save as. So let me go for save as. I'm going to have another version. I'm going to create another version. I created a copy of this particular, my flow. Now, if I activated it, this particular version will be available. See here at the top, this is version 2. So previously what you have created is version 1. Now I am going to activate this particular version, in the sense, automatically version 1 will be deactivated. Okay, so I save as, I went for save as, and I'm going to do the modification. I need one more screen. So let me come here and drag and drop this. Okay, so I need to create the same things. Okay, so there is a welcome flow. It's okay, fine. This is my welcome screen 2. Okay, that is the name. It's okay, fine. I need a display text. So in the components, I'm going to search display text. I'm going to drag and drop. So it's available for me, and it's API name welcome message 2. Okay, I'm going to give it. Sorry, it's API name. There should not be space right over there. And here I am going to paste the same thing, in the sense, welcome to session. Okay, I'm done with this. See here, now another screen is being created. Now this particular first screen is concerned, hi, welcome to flow session. Let's have the same thing there. I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to copy the text, and I'm going to click this particular second screen, and in this particular session, I'm going to paste that particular same bar. So both of the screens have the same one. Okay, see here, now in this flow builder, if you want to test the second screen only, in the sense, just you click this particular relationship and just delete it. You can remove it, and I can connect these 2 components. Okay, so this is exists in my screen, but I'm not going to use it anymore. So let me save it. It says that there is an error will be automatically popped up. You have a component, unused component right over there. So that's a warning message. You can skip it. So let me go for a debug. As far as the output is concerned, it will be similar because both the screens have the same message. So as far as the output, you will not get any differences right over there. So now I am going to connect these 2 things. Okay. So before that, let me change this particular text. Welcome to flow. I'm going to remove this session to make the difference right over there. So let me put like this. Now, I want this screen to be executed first, and after that I want this screen to be get executed. Okay, so you can connect it like this way. Okay, I have connected it, and after that I connected these 2 things. So let me save it, and I'm going to debug. I'm going to debug. So here, this is my first screen. Hi, welcome to flow session. When I click next, now automatically next came there. Okay, when I click next, in the sense, I'm going to have hi, welcome to flow. That is the second screen. See here, you can able to easily identify how the screens are being processed. When you click finish, in the sense, you will be having, one more information. That is, this is how the flow gets started. This is your first screen, and what all are the elements you have in that particular screen, all its data. And the second screen, and what all are the elements you are going to have it in the screen, in the sense, all the elements data will be right over here. In this way, you can cross check it, whether it's went wrong. Okay, in the first screen it went wrong, or in the second screen it went wrong. You can able to easily debug that. Now two screens being interconnected one by one. Now if you if you're going to activate it, in the sense, let me activate it. I activated the thing, and let me come for the home page. So let me click refresh it. So ready to load up. See here, immediately automatically next button came over here. I haven't went for edit page. So once you created a particular component and you placed it in your any of your home page or account detail page, in the sense, next time whenever you are going to do the changes and you are going to again reactivate it, that's a different version. When you created a different version, automatically your different version will be reflected in your screen. There is no need to again go for to edit page, and there is no need to remove this component and drag it back. It will be automatically reflected. When I click the next button, your screen says that, hi, welcome to Flow. This is the second screen finished. And that's it. Now the requirement is, I want to have two screens. In the two screens, there is a heading. Heading seems to be a common one. Okay. So in that scenario, let me save it once again. Okay. So this is my first screen. This is my first screen welcome message. I'm going to copy it. The same screen is going to be have here also. Okay, this is my welcome screen. This. Let me paste it. Both the screens have some common headings right over there at the top of your screen. Now the requirement says that sometimes the heading might change. If that is a scenario, in the sense, if you have 100 screens, you have to go to 100 screens and you have to change this particular text element in the 100 screens. You have to do it 100 times. Instead of that, you can go for binding. Instead of that, you can go for resource binding. So here comes the variable. Variables, in the sense, you can have a value in that particular resource and you can reuse it as many as times possible. So now I am going to create a resource. Okay, I'm going for manager. At the left side, I'm going for manager. I have a new resource button right over there. I'm going to click it, new resource. Okay, so welcome message is a text. So I'm going to create a simple variable right over here. And the name is, let me give it as message. It's a message. That's it. The description, welcome message in area. Okay, the data type. What is the data type? It is going to display as a group of strings. It's a text. So I'm going to select text. Okay, and you have so many options. We will see one by one. So initially, I'm going to create a variable and its API name. Okay, so the default value is welcome to Flow session. Welcome to Flow session by AJ Skill. I'm going to give like this. Okay, I'm going to done. So now see here, a component is being created. See here at the left, you can able to see that. Okay, see here there is a variable. So a new resource is being created. A new resource is being created. Already you have a couple of resources. So that comes under screen components. So whatever the the user interface elements you are going to place it in your screen, everything will be displayed under screen components. If you are going to create a new resource, that is a variable, in the sense, it will be displayed under variables right over there. Okay, so you should know the difference between the screen elements and the particular variable resource. So you have created a variable. Now come to this screen element. This particular message should not be static one. It should be dynamic, depending upon the variable. Whatever the data is going to be placed in the variable, just now we have created, it should be displayed right over here. So I'm going to remove this welcome message. Instead of that, I'm going for binding. This is called a data binding. Okay, I'm going for insert a resource. Now automatically, what all are the resources available in your flow, everything will be displayed right over here under different section. Screen components, you have screens, you have variables. Under variable, you have the message variable just now you have created. I'm going to select it. See here, this is what data binding. People who might have seen Visual Force page or Aura components might be familiar with that. curly braces question mark, curly braces exclamation. Wherever you see curly braces exclamation in Salesforce, you can damn sure that it's a data binding. So data binding will be in this particular format only. Okay, so the same syntax is being used in AngularJS or wherever you go, the same data binding. So this is a data binding. You are going to bind the variable value into your screen component. That is the display text. I'm done with this. I'm going for the second screen element. Okay, in the second screen element, I have a welcome screen display text right over there. For this also, I'm going to make it as a dynamic one. So I'm going to remove this particular thing and I'm going to bind. So how you will be binding? Insert resource. Coming for variables, you will be going for text right over here. Done. That's it. I'm going to save it and I'm going to debug this. That is, I'm going to test it. How the flow looks like. So here, welcome to flow session by AJ Skill. So this is what you have, created as a default value in your variable. You go for next. Okay, automatically the second screen also displays the same thing. Now here is the requirement. Actually, the requirement says you need to create two screens. Suddenly the requirement changes. Okay, the heading needs to be changed. It should not be welcome to AJ Skills. It should be welcome to flow or something else. If that is the case, in the sense, if you have 100 elements, you have to go to 100 elements and you have to change the display text. If that is the previous scenario. Now what I'm going to do is just I'm going to just to click this particular variable which is just now created by me. I'm going to click this message variable. In the default value, I'm going to change it. Okay. Welcome to this session. I'm going to give it this. Welcome to this session. Just done it. Okay, done. That's it. I'm going to save it. And next, I'm going to debug it. Okay, I'm going for a debug. Okay, let's run it. See here, welcome to session. This is the first screen. Next, welcome to session. This is the second screen. Okay, now the effort you put is minimized because of this variable. Whether you changed all the screen elements, no. Actually, while creating the screen, you just connected it with the variable. That's it. Whenever the data is going to change, just you will be coming to this variable and you will be changing the data. The data will be reflected in all the screen elements which are referencing your particular variable through the data binding, through this data binding. So this is what the power of creating a variable and data binding. These resources can be used in so many scenarios in your flow, so many steps in your flow. If there is any changes comes in the sense, just you need to change it in the variable, it will be reflected all over. People come up with programming background might be aware of this. This is called variable. We will be using it. Okay. So this is what all about data binding is concerned. This is called a resource binding. Okay, now you might get a clear idea about what is meant by resource binding, how it will help you at when you are going to design a complex scenario, how it will help you to change one single place. It will be reflected in all the areas. So up to this particular point, do you have any queries, please? Anyone has any queries? You can ask.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, please. Okay, fine. Yeah, yes, please. Okay.
You can proceed.
Yeah, okay, fine, that's great. So this is how you can create a variable, that is the resource. In resources, you have so many types. As the session goes on, we will see one by one what are the different different resources you can able to create. So let me jump on to the next one. So this is the tip. As far as the resource is concerned, the resources can be reused. If any change, only change that particular resource, it will be reflected all over the places, those who are actually using it. Now, you are going to create a contact. Next scenario, you need to create a contact in the account page. Let's say this is your account page. This is your account page. Okay, let me come to the account page. The requirement says that this is my account page. Okay, I'm going to create an account. In the account detail page, I want to have a flow right over here. It should create a contacts. So there should be a facility here to create a contact from the account detail page itself. I wanted to have a component. If that is the case, in the sense how you can create a record creation flow in your flow builder. So that's what we are going to see in next. So come to the flow. Okay. So come to your flow builder. I'm going to create a new flow. So let me come back. The flow screen. And I'm going for a new flow. I'm going to click new flow right over here. A new flow will be, created. Let me click this. Okay, fine. So the requirement says that you need to create a record. So if you are going to create a record, in the sense user will be inputting your contact. The user will be inputting your contact first name and last name. If that is the case, in the sense user should interact. So you can go for the screen flow. So this is how you can able to decide which kind of flow I have to pick. So I'm going for a screen. So initially user has to input the username and first name and last name. So I'm going for. So user will be inputting the text, in the sense automatically you should go for the text property. There is a text element. Okay, under input you have to choose this. So previously we have used to display text. There is no user input right over there. Now user going to input that. So I'm going to just to drop a text, drag and drop a text right over there. So immediately you have to specify the label for it. This is the first name I'm going to create. So let me first name, give it first name. That will be the my API name also. So that's it. I don't want to do any other changes right over here. I'm not going to specify any default value. So next thing, I want to have a last name. So I want to let me drag and drop. I'm going to have another text. This is our last name. Last name. So that is my API name. That's it. So before that, you have to give the name for your screen also. So this is contact creation. I'm going to create a contact creation. So this is what my API name. That's it. Let me finish with this. So this is my screen. So let me connect it and check it how my screen looks like. I'm going to save it. Okay. So contact creation flow. So that's what the best practice is. You should go for description. As time concern, I'm just going to skip that. Okay. The best practice is you should have the description. Okay. So let me debug it and see how this particular flow looks like. Fine. When I click see here, now I can able to input any name. I'm having a two input box. One is the first name and another one is the last name. It is going to create your particular contact. We haven't finalized the create contact functionality. So this is the right time to have the create contact functionality. See here at the bottom, you have functionalities to create your create the CRUD operations. You have a create record option right over there. So I'm going to drag and drop it. Okay, I'm going to drag and drop it. I'm going to create a record. So once you drop it, automatically you have to fill up some data for that. This is a component, and as usual, any component you are going to place it in your screen, you should give the component name. So my component name is create a record, create contact record. So that's what my component name, create contact record. Let me give a label for it. Okay, and automatically you can give a description how many records you want to create. Just you are going to create only one record. That's it. Okay. How to set the record fields? Okay, how to set the record fields in the sense use all the values from your record, or you want to create a record with couple of values you input. Let's say you have 10 input elements in your screen. I want to create a record with only the first two elements. If that is the case, in the sense you can go for the option whether you are going for all the elements or you are going for a separate elements. Now I have first name and last name, so I'm going for use a separate resource. Use a separate resource. That is the second thing I'm going to select. Next, in which object you want to create a record? I want to create a record in the contact object. So I'm going for contact object. I'm choosing the object contact object. How you want to set the value? Actually, I need to create a contact record. The first name should be from my screen element. The second name should be from my screen element. So I am going to fix that. So first thing, first field, that is first name. So that is what my field value. Okay, from where this field value is going to insert, it is from the screen element. See here, you will have all the resources in your screen. Screen components. This is the first name text. This is the screen component. Whatever I'm going to input in that, it will be stored into my DB. See here, immediately there is a binding happens there. Okay, a binding happens. Add field, one more field. You have to input last name. So let me create last name, and then go for the value. Again, screen element, the last name. Okay, that's it. I have only,
sorry. Can you explain again how to set the record fields?
Okay.
That one use all values.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
please.
Thank
please
you.
once again. I'm going to place it, create record. Okay, and it is create a record. I'm going to have it. How many records you want to create? Only one. How to set the record field? Use separate resources. Okay, because you have an input elements. The next thing is you have to select your object. I'm going to create record in the contact object.
Why you didn't choose use all values from a record?
I don't have all the values in my screen. I'm going to have only first name and last name.
Okay, all right, it's clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm going for contact object, and the next thing is which field I want to update. I want to update first name. So let me go for first name, and the value it is from a screen element, that is the first name. And another field I'm going to create, and that's for last name, and it is coming from my second screen element, that is the last name. So I have two elements. Two elements I have connected with my object fields. That's it. I'm done with this. Okay. So this is a create record. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to, the step is first I'm going to get the input from the user, and after that I'm going to push that input into my contact object. So let me connect these functionalities. Okay, it's being connected. So let me save it, and next step, before activating it, again I am repeating, before activating it I'm going to test it. So I'm going for debug. Our account is being created or not, and how to test it. So let me debug it. Let my screen be load. Yeah, start. See here, I can able to get the first name. First name, let's say Suresh. So let me give a name like this, last name. Okay, and I'm going to click the next button right over here. Next. Immediately see here at the right side, you can able to see, okay, whether your record is, whether your functionality is right or not. So first time you please carefully go through it. The last name, you have a text box called first name. In the first name, you have an inputter, the Suresh, that's what the name. And you have a last name, and what you have input, and you have input Kumar. So this functionality is fine as far as the input element. That's what the power of debugging. So next you are coming to the next functionality, it should create a record, right? So that's what is being there, create records. Yes. As far as the first name field is concerned, it is going to assign the first name screen element. The data is Suresh. Yes, fine. The last name, the data is coming from the last name screen element. That is also what I have input. Fine. So what is the result? A record is ready to be created. See there, the record is ready to be created. So that's what the screen says. The record is ready to be created. If that is the case, in the sense my functionality is going to work fine. If that is the case, in the sense it's time for me to test my functionality by activating it. Okay, I'm pretty much clear that it will work fine. Hope so. So let me close this window. Okay, I'm going to activate it, and it's contact creation flow. Let me come to my home page, sorry, account page, and I'm going to edit this particular page. I'm going for edit page. Okay, fine. So already I have a flow. Just now I want to change it, in the sense you can change this. I'm going to remove this. Okay. See here, automatically contact creation flow. So which flow you have created last, it will be automatically popped up at the top. So I'm going to select that contact creation flow. So that's it. I'm going to save it because the page is already activated. So there is no need to go for activation once again. So now I'm coming back. Okay. Coming back, let's see in my screen, I can able to see the contact creation user interface element. See here, contact creation flow. It's available right now for the users. So who are already in the account page using this particular user interface element, using the flow, they can create contacts right away from here. For first name, I'm going to give, whatever it name. So let's say AJ, and the last name I'm going to give AJ skills. AJ skill. I'm going to give. So give next. Okay. So now the screen will be looks like, okay, you are not sure whether the account is being created or not, whether the contact is being created or not. For that, you can give a confirmation screen, or you can go for contacts. I'm going for contacts tab. Let me check. See here, the first row, the record is being created, AJ skills. So this is what, you have just now created. Okay, you can check it out. The name, AJ skills. So you are able to successfully create a contact record from the account record detail page itself. So this is what the requirement. So you were able to easily achieve this requirement using this simple flow. So what you did, you created a screen element. Okay, in the screen element, you placed two text box to get the input from the user. And after that, you went for using create record, you drag and drop it in the create records. You specified how many records you want to create, whether whether your flow needs to fix all the values automatically, or you want to get it from you want to bind it from your elements. Yes, I want to bind it from my input elements because user is going to give the input. If that is the case, in the sense I'm going for use separate resource, and I'm coming for field values. The first field, which screen element, the binding is completed. Once the binding gets completed, you can connect it, you can debug, and you can test it. So this is how you can create a simple create record user interface element using flow. So you have any queries up to this particular point, in the sense you can go for it.
Use all values option is there.
Yes, let's say the all values, in the sense, let's say you are having a record set. Okay, so I don't want to confuse the people, the beginners at this particular point of time. So that's why I am not going too deep into that. Actually, you have a set of records right over there in the form of a resource. If you want to use that resource to create a record, in the sense, you will be going for the first option. Okay. Now the requirement is user will give the input. Whatever the input user is going to input, that should be used to create a record. If that is the case, in the sense, you will be going for use separate resource. You got the point?
So whenever we have a user interaction, then we should go with the use separate.
Yes, use separate. Absolutely right. So that's what the exact requirement. It is based on the requirement. If there is no requirement, says that it may be an outcome of another process. Let's say an account is being created. Using that account created variables, you want to update one more clone or something, in the sense you can use that same variable. Okay, there is no user interaction right over there. If any user interaction is going to happen, user will input. Based on the input, you want to create something in the element, in the sense you can go for use separate resources. You are binding it. Okay.
Will we do an example on use all values?
Yeah, that's what I told. You are going to create an account record. Using that account record values, you want to automatically update the information in the opportunity. There is no user interaction in between that. Okay.
Okay.
In that point of time, you will be going for use all values. We will see that. Okay, and we will see in the next session how you can use the record set element. See here, you see here one more important point I want to explore right over here. You have used this particular screen element. Automatically, let's explore this resource manager. See here, a particular variable is automatically created. You can able to see this. See here, can you able to see this? See there, under the variable section, we haven't created any variable in this particular, flow is concerned, but automatically flow builder created a resource. It created a resource, a variable. See there, contact ID from create record. Actually, when you place this particular, create record element, flow builder automatically created a resource. And after creating the record, your newly created record ID is available for you. So that's the meaning for this. In the next element, if you are going to create a next element, in the next element, you want to use this particular newly created record, in the sense you can make use of this variable. It's readily available. This is one of the new feature. It's readily available. You can make use of it. Okay. There is no need to separately create a variable for you manually. It's readily available. Using the contact ID, you can reference that. Let's say you are going to create a contact. You are going to create an account. In the next screen, you are going to create a contact. In the contact, you want to assign that particular account. If that is the case, in the sense, you can reference this variable. No need for you to create separately.
Can you also include a lookup field? Where do you want to create the contact?
Yes,
under which account?
Yes, we will go it step by step. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what probably the next scenario.
One question I had was about the action buttons on the page. You have this next and finish buttons. Can you customize those buttons?
Yes, if you want to customize, in the sense, you can enable or you can disable. So that's the functionality currently available here. Okay, you can go for previous, you can disable it. If you want to disable the next screen, there is no more next screen, in the sense you can go for the next. But pass, you can also remove it. But you at least need a finish section right over there. Okay. So because when the user will complete that action, how flow identify? You should have an interaction right over there. I'm going to input the first name and last name. By giving the first name and last name, if from a programming perspective, if you are going to write a script or something, in the sense, you can have an on change. When user is going to do something in the on change event, I can fire something in the backend or something else you can have. But as far as the screen is concerned, user should click a button. If you click the finish button, in the sense it's confirmed that user finishes his inputs. So that's a
So
confirmation. Yeah.
So if we want to have a save and new button over there, can we add that?
You know, at that point of view, we have to go for customization. There is no straightforward thing available here.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So any other queries as far as this particular thing is concerned? Okay, so let me go for today's final topic. So this is one of the new feature currently available. So previously in Flow, you will be work around this particular functionality. Let's say you have to create a lookup. You have to create a lookup. Just now we have created a contact. Okay. Just now we have created a contact. As far as this particular contact creation is fine. It's working fine. No issues with that. But whether there is any relationship between this contact and account, even though we placed it in the particular screen, there is no relationship. Okay, actually the account ID field in the contacts, you will be having an account field, right? The account ID field is currently empty. You have first name and last name. There is no lookup being connected with the account. You can have a lookup in your user interface. So previously you used to do workaround, but here in this particular release, it's readily available for you. So let me do that also. Let me go for, let's save us. The same screen, I'm going to apply it, save as. I'm coming for the screen element. In the screen element, you can search for lookup. You can search for lookup. The new functionality is available there. It might be developed as a, it might be developed as an Aura component. You can create a component in Aura and you can have it in the custom components in the Flow itself. You can bind like that. We will see that also. Okay. So this is a lookup field I have created. So I'm going to drag and drop. So immediately you will have to give the API name. So this is my account lookup. I'm going to give the name as account lookup. And this is the field API name. You have to be pretty much sure which object you are going to insert a record. You are going to insert a record in your contact object. That contact object should have a lookup. So then only you can able to connect it in this particular screen. So field API name, which field API name you are going to use? To find out the field API name, you have to come to your screen and you have to go for the setup. So let me go for this contact. This is the contact object I am going to use. So let me go for edit object. Okay, sorry. Let me go for edit object. In the edit object, I'm going for fields to find out the exact API name. So you should not mess with that. So that's why I'm going for field and relationships. I have a lookup here. See here, I have a lookup to account and its field API name is account ID. I'm going to make use of it. Okay, so let me come to my flow. For lookup field API name, I'm going to give account ID. Okay, so the same thing I'm going to use for object API name also. For label, I'm going to give account. Okay, for object API name, which object you are going to link? You are going to link with your contact object. So I'm going to specify contact. Okay, object API name, I'm going to specify contact. That's it. Okay, let me save it and let's debug and test it whether we were able to get this particular lookup or not. Let me check. See here, I was able to create a lookup right over here. So while creating a contact, I can connect this particular contact with an account object. So this might be the scenario, right? The contact will not be left alone. Anyhow, you will be going to connect with a lookup record. So automatically all the account records being available here. Let's see, if you type A in the sense, automatically all the accounts which is going to start at with A will be available for you. So you can easily create a lookup in your contact. So let me use it in the screen. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to activate it. Okay, so let me come to my object. So let me come for sales right over here in the sales app. I have used it. So let me come for sales and go for accounts. In the account detail page, we have used it. So let me come to the accounts. Go for a record. So let me go for this particular record. Now see here in your screen, Now you have a contact creation flow. Okay, along first name, last name, you have a lookup also. Let me create a record. Okay, just text. Okay, so now I'm going to have a lookup. I'm going to connect it with my outbound account. So let me next. Now the contact will be created. Go for contact records. Contact is created. Let me cross check the account name. Going for detail section. Okay, so if you come to the detail section, in the sense, automatically the account name should be right over there. So let me cross check. So this is how you can able to easily create, you can able to easily create and connect any of your lookup. The thing is, this particular, contact object is concerned, I have a lookup field right over here. So that's why I can able to use that particular lookup in my flow also. Okay. So the thing what you have to do is in the flow is just you have to in the screen, just you have to place your lookup, and in the lookup, the thing you have to keep it in mind, you create and test it. So the thing which you have to do is the two things which is very, very important. One is your field API name, your field API name. This is important. This should be the API name of your lookup field and the object API name, which is the object you are going to connect. You are going to get the lookup. So these two things you have to configure, and after that automatically the record will be returned right over there. Why the record is not returned in the sense, there is the scenario is there. I have updated only first name and last name. I have inputted, the lookup to the create record. So if that is the case in the sense, I have to come here. Only two fields were being used to update the record. So I have to go for, add field. And what is the field I need to add? I need to add account ID. So from where this account ID is coming? From the screen element, that is my account lookup screen element. Okay, now it's done with this. So let me save it. Okay, so the data type lookup, in the lookup I have to connect using a record ID. So I'm going to select it and I'm done with this. Okay, so see here the lookup field, you are going to use account ID. You are going to update the account ID field also with the value from account lookup. In the account lookup, you have record ID and record name option. Usually we will be using record ID to connect. So I'm going to select record ID in that. Now, if you save it and if you activated it and come to check your screen, automatically your record will be binded there. Okay, so previously my account name is not updated in the record. The reason is in the create record element, I haven't connected it. Okay, here it's blank. So even though if you selected the lookup, the data is being blank right over here. The reason was we haven't connected it. So just now we have connected it. Okay, so you can easily connect through this create record. So when you are going to add elements again and again, in the sense, you should not forget to update this in the create record element also. Okay, so up to this particular point, any doubts right over here? So that might be the tip also. When you are going to create a lookup, you should go for field API name. You should go for object API name. The object should have a lookup field. Then only you can connect for that particular object. So any doubts? Any doubts up to this particular point? As far as lookup is concerned, do you have any doubts? So we are going to wind up today's session at this particular junction. We will see each and every concepts available in the flow in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So up to this particular point, any doubts in the sense in the lookup, you can go for it.
Thank you, Naresh. That was a clear and nice.
Thank you so much.
And people regarding the upcoming sessions, we will keep you notified. When is the probably we are planning for the session on the coming weekends, either on Saturday or Sunday. You will be given notification prior to that, the timings and the date. We pretty much the timings will be same, like 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST. The date I will confirm you shortly. And this particular video will be placed in the shared drive, and I will give access to all the participants of today's session. And also